purpose-filled or maybe frustration-filled. Purpose-filled or maybe frustration-filled. It was also a little frustrating when I was trying to get the live stream going here and I had forgotten to turn off the Wi-Fi connection. That works when I'm down in civilization, but up here on the Arbel, I need to have it turned off. So I think the system got jammed on me and I had to restart everything. I even had to turn off the phone. But there we got our sunrise. So I turned off the phone and restarted. It's a little frustrating. But it's frustrating just for a moment, you know. And today we have a big topic: frustration or purpose. And the readings speak to those realities very powerfully. Here are little weeds, I don't know the name, and here are the furze bush. I'm discovering more and more of this on Mount Arbel, depending where you go to look for it. I think I'm going to cut across here to the rocks so you can hopefully we'll see more flowers. We saw tons of flowers yesterday up on the other side of Mount Arbel. I went up later in the morning with Father Juan and Felipe and just got incredible glimpses of very beautiful flowers. Look, here we have this one. It looks like a clover. It maybe actually is a clover, but I need somebody that's more experienced now recently to tell me. The thing is, you'd have to go down to see where that flower is coming from. It's not coming from the dominant plant here, from this one. It's coming from one that has 3 leaves, and that's a good sign that it's a clover, like St. Patrick's shamrock, you know. It's a clover. So it's just beautiful up here. Look at this. I want to head over here towards these rocks, so we're going to climb up a little if you're up for that. And if you're not up for climbing up here, you can just stay on your chair or on your pillow in the West Americas and relax. And I'd take you up here on my own. And this ain't drudgery, okay? This is pure joy. Got a little birdie here on this bush. Disappeared, a little shy, doesn't want to be on camera. I think the cows are up here as well, very close. We saw so many new calves yesterday over on the other side of Mount Arbel. Actually, we came upon one that was probably not even a half an hour old. The mother was still licking it. Really amazing how nature works. Sorry here, people, if you're being jostled around a little. I just saw a lovely flower down here. I'm going to go down and show you a reddish one. Actually, 2 types. And then you have this one here. It's a poor specimen. There's some much more. I would probably find more beautiful specimens. Where are you, little flower? There we are. Yeah, actually, I see some over here. Very nice specimens of this flower. Wow, and I see white ones as well. Look at this here. Nice pink one. Where are you, little flower? I'm not good at focusing the camera when it's on very wide zoom. So look up here. And these are all pink, but look at these ones here, are completely white. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the design, and the wind can blow and the storms can blow, and there's like nothing there, just pure rock, look. But there's enough nourishment, obviously, in the little crevice for it. Look at this, people, look at this. There was so much cloud this morning, there was no point starting too early. So I figured I'd head up Mount Arbella a little. And then the next thing was I couldn't start. So just focusing here on the climb. Oh, there's a cow right here with two big horns. Oh, there's a little white calf beside her mom or his mom. You see the white calf? We get closer nice and gently. Usually with the cows, gently does it, you know? And look at this tiny little creature. But it's horrible, okay? If you don't like looking at little bugs, this is going to be a beautiful butterfly, but it goes through this phase. And this little mesh, this little web is where they were first hatched, or they produced that in the process. And now that guy's going to be a butterfly, can you imagine? With all the color of these flowers. And look at this solitary little flower here. Oh, there we have the cow up there. First time this calf is on camera. Let's get a better angle on that. There's so much beauty here this morning. Come on. I have to learn how to focus this camera when it's zoomed out. What's going on? I go up higher. Oh, there we are. That one is a little frosted. And I saw another one as well. It's just gone out of sight, but we'll see more of those, I think, for sure. There are lots of them around. So I'm thinking to head up straight up this hill here. So you're not too tossed around. I just focus, zoom out, so it's a little bit easier for you. Look at all these webs here. These are all breeding these little larvae. I think we're going to get very close to this cow and calf, okay? Feels like at home. Moo. So the calf is behind her now. Not sure if that's a protection movement. Oh, there's another one here. Look at these horns. Can you hear the birds? My goal is to get up to those rocks because I think there'll be a lot of flowers up there. There's another one over here. Look at this one in the sunlight. They're just getting their first classes on posing for Hollywood, okay? Their first little tryouts. Oh, dear cow, God bless you. It's okay, cow, it's okay, I'm friendly. I'm on your side. saw many cows like you before. Oh, there we have the calf now. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the calf here. Look at that picture, people. Sun, calf, reflection on the Sea of Galilee. Look at that, people. Maybe it's about a week old, 4 or 5 days old at least, I'd say. Maybe a little more. Isn't that beautiful? It's still a little weak in the legs, so it mightn't be that old. Hello, you're on camera. Which do you prefer, this calf or Soter? Okay, that's not a fair question. I'm sorry. I withdraw the question. Now we have 3 over here. Good. So that's a nice little deal we got this morning. A nice little gift. Sorry. We used to remove the horns when they were little babies. It was the least painful way to do it, because in close quarters the animals can be very tough on each other as well. So if they don't have those brutal instruments, they can live a little better together. But then here in the mountain, maybe they need them for the coyotes when they have their little calves. The horns are probably helpful for their defense. Watch this, people. I think you can have a little screenshot there for your memory. It's amazing to look inside the flowers. There was one flower yesterday that was incredibly small. And just zooming the camera into it, it was an extraordinary work of art. Such beautiful symmetry, such contrasting colors. Obviously to bring in the bees. Now there's lots of these. Look at all these flowers here. That's why the rocky areas are very interesting, you know. Father Juan made a very interesting comment yesterday. He was doing a little video for the Spanish audience, and he was saying that sometimes, you know, envy fills our lives. We're not content to be who we are. We're not content to be born at a certain time, because we compare to others and we say they're better off, they're more recognized. But you know, on these rocks, which isn't like the fertile soil over there, some beauty grows. The beauty peculiar to this place. So sometimes people complain that their IQ wasn't the same as somebody else's IQ. But your IQ, each one of you, each one of us, is exactly the gift God gave us. Our temperament, our character. Well, our character can be formed, but the basic temperament we have, you know, some people are more go-getters, other people are more laid back, and we need both types in the world. If everybody was a go-getter, then there'd be a lot more tensions. Unhealthy tensions. So now we're getting up to the top. Oh, this is the one, look at. But it's not open right now. When you go into this flower, you see such beauty. Maybe what I'll do is, if I don't get an open one now, I'll post a picture of what I saw yesterday on one of the comments, so that you can see the beauty inside that flower. It probably takes a little bit of sunlight to get it pried open. And some people are like that as well. Some people are very spontaneous and ready to go. And other people need some sunlight and warmth to open up. They need that encouragement. You see, we're all different. And so there should be no place for envy. And even somebody in a concentration camp like Maximilian Kolbe blossomed into an extraordinary level of sanctity. People on their deathbed, people being tortured, like the girls we were talking about in January, or in the beginning of February now, Agatha and in Agnes in January, you know, and they were so young, they didn't live till they were 100. The priest who died 2 days ago, Father Felix, he was 87, and his sister he left behind was 100. So not everybody gets to live to be 100, and we don't need to be envious or jealous. We need to take care of our health. I'm climbing up here in the hope of seeing more. Look at this. This is the dominant flower in the rocks at the moment. And this is our one that I want to show you the inside of these flowers. These flowers are so incredible on the inside. I didn't expect to find that in there. And then there were some nettles that had a stain, a white stain on the leaves, and then we realized with ones that were further along, underneath the white stained leaves were actually tiny little flowers. I should go back and film the inside of those as well. The detail that God has put in a flower, in a passing flower that's going to be there for a couple of days, it's amazing. The beauty. And we're not going to be for a couple of days, we're forever. Imagine the detail God puts into us. The beauty. And then the bees will be getting busy down there in the hives to come visiting all these flowers for the nectar, to give us honey and to pollinate. What a combination. Yesterday, somebody commented that Aristotle said that if all the bees were eliminated in the world, Aristotle, like 400 years ago, he said that if all the bees were eliminated, all nature would die. Not sure if it's 100% true, but he was obviously a great observant of nature. So I want to go up a little higher here to the top of this small ridge, and then we'll settle down for the morning. Oops. Look at all these flowers here in the middle of the rocks. And you could write off this and say, this is no good, this is just a bunch of rocks. But look at that beauty. So I think that's the flowers for this morning, but let's look at the flowers and the readings. We're nicely perched up here. We often look at this rock from down below at our house, this big rock here. And you can see the guest house, and you can see Duke and Altum just behind the rock. And then right behind Duke and Altum, you see a little white house in the trees. That's where I didn't have any dreams last night. I just had a great sleep, thanks be to God. And the lake house. And then it's very hazy, so we can't even see Capernaum. I can just see some of the plastic on the Mount of Beatitudes, but we don't need to go there now. Migdal seems asleep. The lockdown is finishing today in Israel, so that's great news, people. And millions have been vaccinated here out of a little over 9 million people living here. So that's also a great piece of news. So we're still living in a mystery because even the medical world, the scientific world is still trying to understand corona. In a certain sense, we feel our helplessness before this incredible monster, which is a tiny little virus and causes us so much trouble. There we are. So let's look at our readings. You have them anyway, right? You were probably looking at them all along. And I find a very major contrast between Job's state of soul and what's going on in the gospel. Job is like almost wanting to check out, you know. Life is very rough. Man's life is a drudgery. We're in chapter 7 of Job, in case you don't have the link. Man's life is a drudgery. Man's life on earth. Are not his days those of hirelings? He's a slave who longs for the shade, you know, burning in the heat of the Middle East. A hireling who waits for his wages. So I have been assigned months of misery. Assigned months of misery. Sounds like Corona. And troubled nights have been allotted to me. If I'm lying down in bed, I say, when am I going to get up? The night drags on and on and on. I'm filled with restlessness until the dawn, twisting and turning and thinking and worrying. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle. They're gone. Goodbye, everybody. I'm leaving the earth. They come to an end without hope. Yeah, that's a key word here, people. See, this guy is frustrated. No hope. Totally frustrated. My life is like the wind. I shall not see happiness again. You know, isn't it amazing? This is actually the state of soul of so many people today. Look at that shimmer. And that wall of black, that's what Job is seeing. And here's the source of the beauty on the lake. And let's contrast that, because it's a very, very different attitude in the gospel, and also in the second reading, actually. But let's go to the gospel. So we're over here, people, in Capernaum, and Jesus left the synagogue, and we can't see Capernaum now. And he entered the house of Simon and his brother Andrew with James and John. And Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever, and we have a pillar honouring her in Ducan Altum. They immediately told him about her. He approached, grasped her hand, and helped her up. Then the fever left her, and she waited on them. When it was evening after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill and possessed by demons. The whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases, and he drove out many demons. Rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place. That's like us, isn't it? Rising very early before dawn or at dawn. He was going out to do the sunrise stroll and chat. Well, actually, he was going to talk with his Father. Rising very early at dawn, he left to a deserted place where he prayed. Simon and those who were with him pursued him, and on finding him said, "Everyone is looking for you." And look at poor old Job in his bed, and he's completely frustrated. "Everyone is looking for you." He told them, "Let us go on to the nearby villages, that I may preach there also. For this purpose I have come." So he went into their synagogues, preaching and driving out demons through the whole of Galilee. So there we find Jesus, whose schedule is totally filled to exhaustion. The disciples are totally involved with him. They're assisting, they're communicating, they're helping. It's amazing. And we see poor Job in frustration. See, the gift that Jesus brought on the earth is a great gift of God's love. And we see that in the words in his heart, because when he saw them in need, his heart was filled with compassion. A heart filled with compassion. So it's not just a program like social help program. It's coming from a wellspring of compassion that's being revealed. Love revealed. And he wants to help and to change the situation of these people. He wants to lift them up. And he doesn't do it alone. He's assembling a whole team to continue his work, to multiply his work. He's filled with this passion of service and goodness. And that's what continues today when you see a Mother Teresa in India and thousands of her sisters continuing her work. Yesterday we had some very nice news. A lady we know pretty well from Haifa, Margaret Karam, was elected president worldwide of the Focolarini movement, which is an extraordinary movement. You know, Mother Teresa looks after a lot of the wounds people have in their bodies, and obviously gives them great love, and that heals wounds in their souls. But that bird is sitting there on top of that cow. There you are. So you have all these different groups and they're dedicated especially to unity, to the wounds in society. The Focolarini, that's one of their big thrusts. And so you have dozens and scores and hundreds and thousands of groupings of Christians whose hearts are filled with compassion over ailments of humanity and go and address it concretely. And they spend their whole life doing it, and they don't get a wage or a salary. And they don't consider themselves hirelings, they consider themselves part of the mission. What an incredible gift Jesus brought into the world. Now, obviously, in all of these associations, there can be bad apples, or an association itself can go very downhill for a while, and then it's renewed again, or it dies out. And the amazing thing about the church is, you know, Peter, Andrew, James, and John, since that group gathered around Jesus, it just kept growing. And no matter all the assaults upon it, it still continues growing and serving. And that's an amazing thing. You go there in the second reading and you see Paul, his passion. And he said, my heart, I'm compelled to preach the gospel. It would be terrible if I wouldn't. The frustration for Job is translated into a different frustration for Paul. He'd be frustrated if he couldn't be fully in action, communicating the love of God, communicating salvation, and making it as easy as possible for everyone. I make myself all things to all people. What an incredible line. To adapt so to each person, to expose their hearts to the love poured out from God. And so there we have that beautiful psalm. Praise the Lord who heals the brokenhearted. Praise the Lord who heals the brokenhearted. People, I'm not sure if I've gone over time, but I definitely think we've reached the time. So allow me to wrap up here with this beautiful scene and that beautiful shimmering on the water. And that's there for you. People down below can't see it like that. We see it at this angle because that's the way the light is reflecting here, and that's a gift for you. Think about that. These are gifts for you from the Creator. Every good gift comes from the Father above. The love that heals the brokenhearted. Because of our freedom, we incur lots of brokenheartedness, but there's love to heal it. People, God bless you. Very nice to see you today. Hope you're blessed. And we'll be starting the retreat soon, or the pilgrimage on next Monday, a week from tomorrow. We'll be starting the pilgrimage. Make sure your friends are signed up, okay? And that you're signed up. God bless you.